So, throughout the years in NBA, there's always star players that seem to be miscast as possible number one options on championship teams. Conversely, sometimes there are players in lesser roles who probably could have been co stars on championship rosters. So, today we're doing a list of the top 5 guys in the 2000s that should have been number 2 options. And in honor of the greatest number 2 option of all time, we're calling it the Scottie List. Number 5, Carmelo Anthony. Melo's an interesting one because if he was drafted in 2004 or 2002, his career would have probably been much more respected. But the honest truth is, he was never truly a number 1 on a championship roster. Melo was this enigmatic elite scorer, but that's about it. And while I doubt he could have ever been a number 2 as far as shot attempts, I think he would have been served well as a co-star. That being said, I think the best team for him would have probably been the 2010-2011 Magic. Remember, that Magic squad wasn't that far removed from a finals run, and they still had Dwight Howard in his prime, who was just coming off Defensive Player of the Year. Add that with the fact that they didn't have someone who can create their own shot at an elite level, and Dwight was more dominant defensively. I think Melo's ISO style would have actually worked well with a superstar who was more or less offensively challenged. Number 4, Kevin Martin. Best way to explain Kevin Martin is to call him the wing version of Enes Kanter. Great on offense, not so much on defense. During his time in the NBA, Kevin Martin was one of the more consistently better shooters in the league. For example, in his last 2 years with the Kings, he was shooting over 40% from 3. As a primary scoring option, he routinely averaged over 20 points on pretty good splits. Now, why a second option? Number 1, no sober person thinks he's going to lead you to a title. Number 2, everything about his skill set was complementary. For example, look at the 07-08 and the 08-09 Cavs team. You could have paired a 3-point shooter with one of the best passers in the league in LeBron James. Furthermore, Martin didn't need a lot of shots. In his highest scoring seasons of over 20 points per game, Martin was averaging around 15 attempts per game. And considering that the Cavs were already top tier in defense for those years, the added scoring output could have put them over the top. Number 3, Michael Redd. Michael Redd was a 6'6 shooting guard drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks and was unfortunately put in a position as the replacement to Ray Allen. The issue was, he was a lesser version of Ray Allen. Both were great shooters, but Allen was a little bit better. Michael Redd averaged 38% from 3 for his career, and Allen averaged 40%. Both were pretty efficient, except Allen was a little more efficient. Redd averaged 44% from the field, while Allen averaged 45%. So, in the summer of 2005, Redd was rumored to be courted by the Cavs, which hosted LeBron and company. And being an Ohio native, the story of 2 kids winning a title for their hometown could have been more compelling. Coupled with the fact that, by that point, LeBron was just coming off a season averaging 27, barely missing the playoffs, and the Cavs desperately needed a second scoring threat. Now, those Bucks teams were bad. Really bad. And if you're wondering why Redd is on this list, well, let's go back to the original comparison to Ray Allen. More specifically in 2001, where those Bucks had Allen, Glenn Robinson, and Sam Cassell. Now, if we already established that Allen was better than Michael Redd, how can we say that Michael Redd's squad with similar talent would have won? Number 2, Vince Carter. Vince is one of those I thought he was better guys. See, the thing about Vince Carter was that without ever going back and watching games or looking up stats and accolades, I might have blindly put him in the top 10 of shooting guards of all time. And that's because of his impact, and it was felt so much more than what it actually was. But the thing that makes him an optimal number 2 is 1, he can create his own shot and work well without the ball, and 2, he was one of the better 3-point shooting superstars in the league. Coupled with his athleticism, his shooting was over 40% in his first 2 seasons and on 5 attempts in his second season. But the thing that makes it more interesting is when his shot attempts dipped to around second option levels. So in 2003-2004, his shot attempts dipped to about 17. And that year he averaged around 20 points per game with his lowest turnover ratio during his prime, while shooting nearly 47% from the field. So, what team do I think he could have been on? Boston Celtics. Let me be clear, for all of you that say Westbrook will shoot you out of games, no one, and I mean no one, will shoot you out of games like 03 Twan Walker. That year he was shooting a whopping 38% from the field, 32% from 3, while taking 7 of them. 7. Anyway, in 04-05, the Celtics in retrospect had some really good pieces. Their roster that year had a young Al Jefferson, Tony Allen, and Kendrick Perkins, all unproven, but would all be future contributors. Couple that with the fact that Carter and Paul Pierce are around the same age. But if I had to put my money on the best team with Vince as the number 2, it would probably be with the T-Wolves, who at the time were still looking for a star guard to pair with KG after Stephon Marbury left. Number 1, Stephon Marbury. So, Stephon Marbury is the subconscious fallout of Scottie Pippen, or should I say the lack of respect for Pippen. For all those who don't know the story, Marbury was drafted to the Timberwolves in '96 in an effort to pair their young star in Kevin Garnett with a potential star guard. And it was working. Marbury and Garnett were becoming a future all-star tandem. And while Marbury was a volume scorer, KG made up for it with elite effort on defense. And for the most part, Minnesota looked like they would have a title contending core in the future. That was until the Wolves gave KG a massive $126 million contract, essentially hamstringing them from acquiring A future high-end star, and B, taking care of the star they had in Marbury. So, when it came time for Marbury, they offered him basically half of that contract, and he wasn't having it. So, what team should he have gone to? The Timberwolves. You should have stayed on the Timberwolves. That's what you should have done. Would that team have won the title? I don't know. You know what I mean? Especially with the Spurs and the Lakers. But at the very least, they would have been one of the 3 true perennial title contenders in the league. And I think he kind of suffered for that, although he became the GOAT in China. So that's my list. Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below, and I will catch you guys next time.